Good evening. I haven't made a little video in a while, so I wanted to just kind of share some things that are going on. Halloween rolled around. I managed to get my wet collodion process going again. I've only made one plate. I made this one here, which I don't know if you can see. It's kind of dark. This process needs to be tweaked. There's some junk in the silver bath that needs to be filtered out, but everything worked, which is great. I've got some challenges associated with this now. Behind you is a camera, my big large format 8x10 camera that I use for wet plate work. It's a Calumet C1. It's made of magnesium. It's a monster. And then off to this side here is a giant ring of flashes, which I'll also show you. One of the challenges I have with all of this, that camera right now with the lens on it that it's got, it doesn't have a shutter. And that's fine if I'm doing this process and shooting a model or somebody that I can work with, because then I don't have to control it remotely. In those instances, you can just take the lens cap off. Now, since I'm using a flash rig, you take the lens cap off, fire the flash, put the lens cap back, or you take it off in traditional setting and expose it for about, oh, I don't know, 30 seconds, depending on the light, probably 30 seconds with this light. People can't sit still, so I built this flash rig. I don't have a way of, right now, doing this remotely, except if I wanted to take a self-portrait, for instance, I would have to turn all the light in here red, take the lens cap off, sit down, trigger this light remotely, turn it on, and turn it back off, or fire the flashes off remotely somehow. Those are all optically slave to each other, and once one goes off, they all go off. So I did have this. This is a large format shutter that I've never used. It had a solenoid attached to it that was a 120 volt solenoid that was protected by a metal box. I couldn't figure out how to get the thing apart. Whoever cut this off of whatever it came off of, cut it so close that you couldn't splice a new wire onto it, it couldn't be triggered. So I disassembled it. And right now what I'm doing is I am 3D printing a little box to go here, and I just happen to have obtained a couple of 5-volt electromagnets that will pull about 30 pounds. So I'm going to use one of those, stick it in that little box, have it pull down on this. There's a return spring that'll push it back up when that magnet deactivates. And then I'm going to put a leaf switch here that's going to act as a flash sink to fire off these flashes. Now, let me show you these flashes. This is 8 Sunpack 611 flashes from the 70s. They're called potato masher flashes, or just basically giant off-camera flashes. I have these running off of a battery pack, which is down here. Now this thing, I had 4 separate circuits on here. They actually run off of one battery. Originally I had them running off of 4 wheelchair batteries, hence the 4 separate circuits. Those batteries were sealed lead acid batteries and they all died. So I have a new lithium ion wheelchair battery in there. I have these 2 to a circuit because I didn't want them overloading. I wanted to fuse them, but the fuses can't handle drawing power on all 4. So I have to bring them up separately. I'm going to do that now. And when I do this, you're going to hear these things start to charge. If we come around to the back side here, you'll hear this whine. You'll hear them all checking in. These indicators will slowly start to come on. They take a little longer to charge the first time after they've been discharged for a while. Hopefully these start to turn green or amber, depending on which one it is. The one on the top, the indicators don't even come on anymore. But it still works, I promise you. So yeah, that's it. Now when this thing goes off, it produces enough light to get a wet plate exposure. Like I said, the traditional process for this would be to have somebody sit still, because the process is slow. You need a lot of light to make this thing work. So alright, these should just be all about charged up right now. I'm going to fire them and let you see these go off. I don't know how this will look on video, but Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's not the button. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. And that's it. And then you'll hear them start to recycle and charge back up, unless I turn them off and then fire them. Yeah, that's it for the moment. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this shutter done, and then we're going to put it on the camera. This is the Calumet C1. This is from the 60s. These have these manual stops that you put in them. They don't have an aperture that closes in the camera. You just put them through this slot here. And like I said, when you're taking wet plate, you would usually just remove the lens. There's no shutter on these lenses at all. But we're going to fix that today, so I can, like I said, trigger this thing remotely if I want to. Calumet. I have other wet plate cameras as well. Well, other large format cameras that I use as wet plate cameras. But yeah, you'll see this in action before too long.